right now on 12 News at 10.
I'm Chase Golightly in Phoenix, where we continue to follow a deadly shooting involving Arizona DPS. What we know tonight.
I'm Tiani Jadling in the newsroom. A military Blackhawk spilled fuel over Tempe back in February. Tonight, when neighbors say they were left in the dark.
One more day of an extreme heat warning as temperatures on Thursday exceed 110, but I'm also tracking an increased fire risk for the weekend.
And video shows how an explosion sparked a fast-moving brush fire that shut down an Arizona highway.
12 News at 10 starts now.
Good evening. A chaotic scene played out near the Arizona Biltmore Resort in central Phoenix today. Multiple gunshots ringing out and police shoot and kill a suspect. Thanks for joining us tonight for 12 News at 10. I'm Mark Curtis.
And I'm Kariba Devine. We've been tracking this shooting for you all evening. 12 News journalist Chase Golightly has been at the scene gathering information and brings us the very latest in this investigation. Chase?
Kariba, that shooting happened right behind me in the parking lot of this Phoenix hotel, and you can still see 8 hours after this incident took place, law enforcement is still here investigating. Arizona DPS, Phoenix Police, and DEA agents swarmed this parking lot Wednesday afternoon for a deadly shooting.
This is a public area. That's a scary situation.
LaDonna Lockhart is visiting from Utah and staying at the hotel. She arrived about 30 minutes after the shooting, saying she had to be dropped off across the street because the entire area was surrounded by police tape.
I got here about 2:30 and there were cop cars everywhere. So just that feeling of general safety, wanting to know that things were okay.
Going up to her room, she could see the scene from her back window. Law enforcement vehicles all over. According to DPS, one of its detectives was going after a suspect when shots were fired. A witness nearby tells us he heard about 5 gunshots ring out, and when he looked over this wall, he could see a man covered in tattoos on the ground. DPS telling us the suspect was seriously injured. They were taken to the hospital and later died. The detective was not harmed, and DPS said there's no threat to the public.
Thank God that it wasn't worse. I mean, really, that's the biggest thing.
Lockhart and others living in this part of Phoenix saying they never thought a situation like this would happen here.
No, I was here last week, and I love this area. I stay here frequently. I would have never expected this. But, I mean, again, these things happen. No one wants something like this to happen.
At this time, Arizona DPS has not identified the suspect in today's shooting. We also don't know why troopers were after them or what sort of charges they were facing. Questions we are working to get answers to. Of course, we'll bring you the latest as we learn more. For now, we're live in Phoenix. Chase Golightly, 12 News.
Chase, thanks. New at 10, a Tempe neighborhood was shaken out of bed with a loud bang yesterday morning. Security video from nearby shows the moments before an SUV slammed into a home. The car then backs away and drives away, leaving behind major damage. The front door was completely destroyed and debris was scattered all over the front yard. The person who lives in the home posted about the crash online and has now received an outpouring of support.
You don't realize how many friends you actually have out there who's like, hey, can I do something? Is there anything you guys need? Somebody offered to come bring us food today. So it's just a really good feeling knowing that we have a good community around us and the support needed.
Another angle from a different neighbor shows the SUV leaving while missing its rear windshield. There's still no word if the driver has been found.
We have an update to last night's shooting that we brought to you as breaking news. Phoenix police say that 2 teens were hurt after they started a fight near I-17 and Camelback Road. A crowd formed and then multiple people started shooting. Police say that the injuries are not life-threatening. The suspects left before officers arrived and no one has been arrested. Phoenix police are still investigating.
All right, let's get to our weather impact alert forecast with meteorologist Lindsay Riley. And Linz, temps didn't get that bad today, but tomorrow is going to be a different story.
Different story. We're not going to have as many clouds out there tomorrow. The few showers that we had over the valley today also helped to hold our temperatures back. That will be non-existent tomorrow. So we're looking at high highs around 112. For tomorrow afternoon, we're still under the extreme heat warning until 8 p.m. tomorrow night. Now, temperatures as of 10 p.m. did now drop down into the double digits. We're at 75 in Prescott. We had a fair amount of rain today up toward the Grand Canyon and Flagstaff, now in the 50s and 60s. As of 10:05, here's the extreme heat warning. It does include most of the valley through 8 p.m. Thursday, but also parts of western Arizona under this exact same extreme heat warning through tomorrow night as well. And in those areas, we can expect the temperatures to exceed 110. Now in Phoenix tomorrow, 112, Cave Creek and Fountain Hills at 105, Avondale, Goodyear and Laveen all at 109 degrees. It's going to be a very warm start. Out the door tomorrow, 6 a.m., it's already 91, and we're approaching 100 already by 10 o'clock in the morning. We'll continue to go up from there. Hottest hours of the day, 3 to 5, and at around 4 p.m. we'll reach our high for the day of 112. A few scattered clouds, no monsoon moisture to speak of in the valley. And then we're looking at an increasing fire risk for the weekend. I'll have more on that coming up in my full forecast. Karibe.
All right, Lindsay, thank you. A newly released report is shedding light on how a U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter spilled fuel over Tempe.
It happened back in February, soaking cars and lawns and leaving behind a strong smell of jet fuel in the area. 12 News journalist Tiani Jadalang is here after speaking to people in that area tonight. Tiani?
Mark Karibe, some residents reported a strong smell, while many others thought it was rain or some sort of mist. But it turns out it was fuel tank number 2 on a military helicopter that was leaking, and that was the result of an emergency. This is some of what was left on neighbors' cars near 6th Street and Farmer Avenue on the night of February 5th. According to a report filed by the city of Tempe, residents initially thought it was rain.
Some liquid fell on by my front of the car and the windshield.
But quickly realized it was petroleum due to the strong smell. Moments later, the Tempe fire chief contacted the city's environmental services section. This map indicates what neighborhoods were inspected, with the red dots indicating where ESS smelled petroleum. It was then that the city was made aware that a Special Operations UH-60 Black Hawk helicopter had an emergency. The report details that it was fuel tank number 2 that failed, a tank capable of holding around 450 gallons of fuel. But even after the emergency, the Army helicopter was able to land safely at Phoenix Sky Harbor. And over 4 months later, some residents are learning what happened for the very first time.
If something's falling from the sky, I want to know what it is, especially if it's going to harm my house.
Alice Miranda and her daughter Bernadette have lived near 10th Street and Priest for close to 50 years. They say it was the strong smell that invited them to call local authorities.
I actually really didn't know what it was. We called the local fire department. They said something was going on the other side of Tempe, but not to be concerned.
Now, we did reach out to the Army for comment on why the leak happened or if pilots were forced to actually release the fuel themselves. We have not heard back. Live in studio, I'm Tiani Jadalang, 12 News.
All right, Tiani, thank you. 3 Mesa police officers are being hailed as heroes after rushing into a burning home to save a woman trapped inside last week. This happened last Wednesday near 78th Street and Baseline Road. The officers ran inside after finding a car on fire that was spreading to the home. Today, all 3 officers spoke with our Sean Rice about that split-second decision that they made to save a life.
Property that can be replaced, but a human life can't. And that's what our main priority was since we got to scene, was to locate the people inside of the home and get them to safety. And I think that should be everyone's priority. If I know it's a difficult time that they're going through, but getting them to safety and out of them alive is our priority.
Unfortunately, the homeowners lost much of what they owned in the fire, but officers say the outcome could have been much worse.
A massive RV fire along State Route 87 this afternoon sparked a fast-moving brush fire. Take a look at this video showing part of that RV exploding, sending pieces of burning debris into the air. The resulting brush fire burned about 30 acres. Crews had to call in air support from helicopters and air tankers. The highway was shut down for almost 2 hours. It reopened shortly after 5 o'clock.
Arizona is expecting high fire danger this weekend. And for just the second time ever, APS says that it may need to cut power to customers near Flagstaff. If conditions get bad enough, the utility says that it will shut off power in high-risk communities near Flagstaff. The cuts could also impact the Grand Canyon. We have more information about the specific locations that could be impacted posted right now on 12news.com.
Maricopa County health officials have confirmed a new measles case, bringing the total this year to 16. The person at Sky Harbor's Terminal 4 was at their Sky Harbor Terminal 4 on June 17th between 6 and 9:30 in the morning. Anyone who was there at the time should watch for symptoms through July the 8th. Those include high fever, cough, runny nose, red watery eyes, and a rash. Measles has no treatment, but it is preventable with the vaccine.